What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of For the Love of Bodybuilding. I'm your host, Logan Schultz. I'm here with my co host, Ian. And today we have a guest, new IFBB Pro, Tyler Smith. Tyler, how's your last 7 days been, buddy?
It's been good, man. Back in the routine swing of things. Universe was just 2 weeks ago, so last 7 days has been pretty much like the weeks and months before. Um, just working and back into the swing of bodybuilding and meals and just motivation's super high, training's good, feeling strong, eating some food. So it's been great, man.
The thing miraculously happens when you turn pro. You don't get like $10,000. You don't get sponsorships. You don't
Not a damn thing, dude. It's just yeah, it's exactly like anybody you hear who tells their story of going pro. It's like, yeah, I woke up the next day and I had to go train.
I
Yeah.
had to go do my fasted cardio. I had to eat my cream of rice or whatever. It's
Yeah,
just
dude, like
another
no
day.
magic, dude. Nothing. But that's what I expected, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Ben does a really good job of educating us. So for those of you who don't know, me and Tyler are teammates. We both worked with the same coach. I have worked with him since late 2021. When did you start working with Ben?
Like August 2020, so just about 6 years now. Yeah, so a
Okay,
long
so
time as
yeah,
well.
about 5 and 6 years, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that just tells you right there, from a coaching standpoint, where you see a lot of people nowadays constantly hop coaches, and they don't really get the time to marinate to learn your body, to take you through a couple different preps, see how you do under certain things, and just see how your body evolves. Because obviously 5 6 years for both of us, it's not the same as where it was when we first started. So tell us about that journey. So was that your first bodybuilding coach, bodybuilding journey? Like, tell
yeah,
me where did this bodybuilding journey really started from you prior to 2020?
yeah. And like, kind of to your point, like if you're coach hopping or whatever, like you never quite have the time to let a coach learn you, but then vice versa too. Like Ben has, he would probably say this too, like improved like insanely. You might say the same thing about him too, like his processes and his communication, his business standards, and the way he's bringing his athletes in. Like I feel like it's improving. So like we're growing together. It seems like so. It's been like this
Absolutely.
really good dynamic. Um, but yeah, he was my first bodybuilding coach. Like I was lifting weights for a good like 7 8 years before that, but really just doing just kid stuff, college stuff, and just enjoying lifting weights. Probably like 190, 195 pounds, and um, hired Ben basically at the point I decided, I want to try this competing thing and just see how that goes. Hadn't really followed a meal plan, hadn't really followed a real training program. Went into it really fresh with them, and it was yeah, it was eye opening. And yeah, dude, we've learned so much along the way. It's been still learning a lot.
On that, when you were in college, training, like the prior 6 7 years, whatever it was there a certain kind of training program that you would do? Like, I think we were all kind of the same. We kind of get away with whatever you can eat, but like as far as their training goes, that's initially what kind of hooked me to Ben as well, is because just training was very similar. I was already kind of itching my way, but I was doing powerlifting, then it kind of just became more and more niche, I guess. So kind of what
Right.
was that
Yeah.
college training background for you?
I'd done a little bit of everything, just finding what sticks and trying to have fun, I guess. Like I had done little power building blocks and 3x5s and like uh trying to scale my bench and my squat deadlift, all these things, and like built a really good foundation with that. Um then just basic like bodybuilding.com workouts, Arnold splits, like all these basic things that were around 10 years ago, just
Yeah.
following those. And it's just like, it was enough to just like provide some sort of foundation. Um, but there was little to no thought process on my end, or like considering why this split, or why should I or should not be doing this exercise that's on this program that I'm running. So I'm like knees aching and shoulders are all messed up. It's like, well, I wonder why. And it's like, yeah, that's where the coaching thing like opened my eyes. I'm like, oh, I should not necessarily be loading a barbell on my spine. My shit got rocked. Like I'm did a set of squats and was like, oh yeah, my lumbar spine is screwed. But like the program says to do a barbell squat. So I was just doing dumb stuff, right? So that was kind of my whole foundation leading up to. It was all over the place. But I think that's important too. Like phases of doing 30 set workouts, and then a low volume approach. And it's like just practice. It was just practice, really. Um, it's a way, like, I don't think a lot of people view it, where it's like that training program wasn't optimal. It's like there was so much
Yeah.
volume and you're not recovering from it. I'm like, yeah, but it was practice, dude. It was for now, whenever I hire somebody like Ben, I know how to recruit my pecs or whatever it is, because I've done 60 freaking sets of it a week for like a year when I just wanted to grow my chest, you know?
Yeah, I feel that. I did that a lot as a young guy. You know, I started working out on my own at 16, and I trained chest every day I was at the gym.
Yeah.
Something, did
Yeah.
something, you know what I mean? So I think that I think I agree with you in that it's valuable to go through all of the fuck ups, right? Like especially in those early years. So were you, let me ask you this. Were you a fat kid? Were you a skinny kid? You know, you said that you had never really had a meal plan when you started with Ben. So kind of where was your mindset at? Like, you know, what path did you take?
Yeah, that was I was a long distance runner for
Okay.
ever. 145 pounds, graduating high school at, just about 6 foot. Um, in college, early in college, tried dabbling still with the running thing. So I was 20, 19, 20 years old, really. I was still sitting at a buck 45, buck 50, and realized the running thing wasn't going any further than it was. I
Hmm.
just wasn't very, very good at it. I was decent. Um, and so, yeah, at that point, it was like, okay, I had an hour, hours of my day around running and the things associated with it. So it's like, okay, I want to fill that time. I want to just have more presence. I just want to be more confident. Like that's a huge. I see that a lot with, like, as I've been in bodybuilding, like long distance runners switching over to bodybuilding. It seems to be like a pretty normal transition I see with them, because you get tired of being like really small, and also you have a certain amount of discipline, and like it just translates well, I think.
I think that I've seen a lot of long distance runners that were able to grow large amounts of tissue.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe the
That,
metabolism, like cardiovascular system. So like you can train a long time, you can train hard.
yeah.
Mhm.
Metabolic advantages of it. I mean, you're like insulin sensitive as hell right from day number one.
Hmm. There had to, man, there's some other scientific data point uh, in regards to why it works as well. Um, Something about the way that the muscle cells develop as a long distance runner or as an endurance athlete, and then transitioning over into uh, hypertrophy, it just seems to work really well because I believe like Dave Palumbo was also like a distance
Yeah,
runner
yeah,
as
I
well.
hear him say that a lot.
I just can't remember exactly what that process was, but I've seen it over and over again to where it
Yeah,
works out really well.
yeah, and I think that's what keeps guys around. And so like we hear success stories of guys who are like endurance athletes, switching over to bodybuilding and being good at it. I think it keeps you doing bodybuilding. But I think initially, yeah, there's some mental and there's some confidence stuff of being that smaller, thin guy, where it's like we gravitate towards the next step being bodybuilding too. Without, um, yeah, just kind of like you end up 18, 20 years old, and you're like, well, what's next for me? And it's like I'm getting into schools or social circles or like career paths, and it's like I want to have some presence, something about me, and I think that's what gets a lot of guys.
Yeah, I think with the training, I think we all understand that. Like, and I want to tell this to other people, especially younger kids, people who maybe get into bodybuilding that want to look up to XYZ bodybuilder. When you're first starting out, it's okay not to specialize. Overtrain your ass off. Just do whatever you want. Like I used to run Bill Pearl that had a program in the book. It was 100 sets like twice a day. Like I
Hmm.
was to just retard things. And it's okay to do this when you're starting out. Focus on the foundations. We all started off doing a power building, Michael or her power building side of working out. And then once you get more advanced, you can kind of break it down. I see a lot of
For
kids trying to
sure.
do way more advanced
It
splits, more specialized splits all the
100%.
time. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Just learn
100%.
the basics and just train, just get really strong. Don't worry about doing a cable crossover at the 30-degree angle and making sure your triceps externally rotate at the humerus. Like nobody gives
Yeah.
a fuck. It's not going to
Yeah.
get you huge.
And when like a lot of the education right now is around like low volume and like maximizing sets and stuff, it's like for a couple of reasons. Like when you're new, when you're young and you're trying to get good at this, it's like you simply can't recruit muscle the same way somebody that you're watching online can. You just can't. So you require more volume. But then the practice thing, like I was saying, where it's like over time, like, yeah, if you do 50 sets of this muscle per week, like, yeah, you're just going to get better at hitting it. So then once you add on some muscle, not going to be at an optimal rate, whatever you want to consider it. But once you have some muscle on you, you learn how to actually use muscles and like how to really train. Then it's like we can go about this lower volume or experiment with like some more advanced techniques and stuff. But I wouldn't tell anybody, any young kid or any kid that I work with or comes up to me at the gym, it's like I would run high volume and I would run a split that you really enjoy and not think too much about it.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. And to the like motor unit recruitment kind of standpoint, there is a level of skill to this, and that is a level of skill you are referring to. We just talked about this in our other
Yeah.
podcast with like fatigue management and training and a contest prep. Whenever you get bigger and you can actually recruit more muscle, you can't. Some people genetically can, but for the most part, you need to pull back a little bit when you're in contest prep because you need to focus on your fat loss. You can't just bury yourself with 500-pound stiff leg deadlifts. You don't
Yeah.
have the finance to recover from this because you can recruit so much more.
Yeah.
So somebody that's more advanced to you, that's the skill level that we're referring to. It is a skill to be able to use that to get away with. Maybe this guy trains 5 sets of quads and his quads are huge, but maybe he
Right.
just
Yeah.
activates his quads because back in 10 years ago he was doing 20 sets of squats, barbell squats,
Yeah.
and he was
Yeah.
getting really good at the skill execution. So people don't get hung up in all that kind of things there.
Yeah,
But
it is funny how it works now, and you guys could probably relate where it's like then when you are at like a pretty advanced stage with your physique and it's like, okay, I want to bring up X body part, whatever that is. You could have one set in one
that's
additional
it.
set per week, and you're like, holy fuck, that rocked my world. Like if it's a hard set of hacks or something like that, it's like one extra set per week is like
That's all I need.
really, yeah, it's like noticeable. It's taking a toll on your recovery, and you're like, okay, I'm going to grow from that. But that's a problem. That's something to worry about years
That's
down
that's
the
such
road.
a niche thing that like I feel like I'm just really kind of getting into
Yeah,
myself as
yeah.
I can actually get away with doing stuff like that. But so you were training that style, you got with Ben, obviously natural with Ben. How long were you natural? And then when did you start kind of crossing over?
I
Or did you know
actually,
you were always going to be on
mm,
PEDs, or did you dabble in?
yeah. So I knew, like, I just was getting, yeah, I guess exposed to like YouTube fitness and just like looking up to guys that I knew were on PEDs, and I just knew it was something I wanted to explore at some point. Um, and literally, I think I had taken 1 or 2 shots of testosterone, and then I reached out to Ben. I was like, I guess
I
it
don't
kind
want
of,
to fuck this up.
yeah, it kind of hit me where I was like, oh, that's real, and this is
Big
kind of
boy
scary.
shit.
So, like, let me make sure I'm doing this shit right. And so
Big boy.
I
Yeah.
messaged him. I was like, hey, I just started doing this stuff. Can you help me? And he's like, yes, absolutely, I can. So then he kind of sets me straight. But yeah, it had been like literally week number 1. Like he really has helped me from like basically day 1 of like real quote unquote bodybuilding. It's like, hey, I just took my first pin, haven't really followed a meal plan. Um, so yeah, that's kind of how that went.
Okay. Yeah, so it's basically kind of like right off the bat.
Yeah, it was something about like
Fuck, I
when
wish
you're
I would have done that.
when you're sitting there like looking at it, you're like you like see it when you're administering whatever. You see it, and you're like, holy shit, this is real life. Uh,
I'm shutting down my natural test. I'm
yeah,
fucked.
let me not fuck this one up.
It's the good thing is coaching was really starting to take off in 2020. That's when online coaching was starting to be like
COVID year, yeah.
a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I started in like 2015.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
no shit. No, you were
Yeah.
way
Oh
early.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Logan's a veteran, dog.
I used pro hormones in high school.
yeah,
And I knew, oh yeah, I knew from then that I was going to end up using steroids. I was just
yeah,
trying to wait till my 21st birthday. I don't know why I had
yeah.
21 in mind, but yeah, bro,
Legal age of drinking. I don't know.
I've
Fuck.
been using
Or
for
whatever.
fucking ever.
for,
I
for,
fucked my shit up a long time ago. Yeah.
yeah.
Fucking, I blew that shit right off the door. Yeah, I
Hmm.
waited about, I did a full year and a half of natural off season with Ben. And then I was like,
Nice,
okay,
nice.
fine. So it was probably not until 2023 I started my first, cycle. But I always knew I was. I just wanted to kind of get the most as I possibly could. Because I
That's cool.
actually
He got
met
to see
Ben
you.
at Labrada. Like he just randomly showed up to like tan and compete. And I was natural. I'm like 140 pounds, like with
Right.
a sock on. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the guy that's on, Hostile, Films
Yeah.
Yeah.
podcast. I was like, holy shit. So yeah, I mean, I had the similar approach. I just wanted to kind of get the most out as I could as a natural, but I always knew that, by the time I was 27, I was 27, 28 when I started. Yeah. 27, 28, that
Yeah, yeah.
it was
You started at a
inevitable.
pretty, I guess, I shouldn't even say a good age if you want to consider it a good age. But yeah, you started a little bit later. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
I must have been 20, 23, 24, something
I,
like
I feel
that.
like that's a good spot, man. If once
Yeah,
you're like
yeah,
23 to like 26, like you've learned kind of just how mostly to train and just be able to experiment with your body and stuff
yeah.
like that. Like I think you're probably out of that growth stage where you're pretty much not going to have any more massive growth spurts. It's just more about the discipline, because once you
Mhm.
start taking PEDs, the discipline of watching your health, actually watching what you eat. I wasn't going to start taking PEDs back when I was in college. I was eating like an asshole. My lipids would be
And you
fucked.
knew that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd be anxiety. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking die because I'm not watching it. It's
Yep.
like I wanted to make sure everything, all the T's were lined up in somebody that I actually trusted, just to be like, whereas back in the day, right, when Logan was starting out, it was just like, yo, I know this guy at the gym. He thinks he can help me with my cycle. What does 500 tests and 50 D-ball sound like to you? It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and I think because you and I both seem to were about that time where uh, like fitness podcasting and stuff was really popular, and coaches
Yeah.
talking about all this
Mhm.
kind of stuff, and so it was different probably for us than it was maybe 7, 8 years before for Logan, where it's like
Hmm.
there was actually conversations
Right.
had about blood
Yeah.
work, and when you start you should be eating this and you have to eat XYZ and make sure you do this and that, and like these were real conversations, and I was listening to that before I started taking anything, and
Yeah.
or I was meal planning or meal prepping or anything like that. I was like learning all this stuff. So for me, it was like that's just what you do. Like you hire somebody and you do it the right way or whatever. So that's something really good that's come out of the whole YouTube thing, podcasting thing.
Yeah, I agree. That is the right way. The way that I did it is not the right way. I was fucking blasting trend, partying every night, eating Taco Bell. Yeah, it was. If I got my blood work done back then, I guarantee you it was
You were
horseshit.
bloated as hell year
Oh
round, huh?
no, actually, I wasn't. I was actually pretty lean.
Like my
I've always,
estrogen was
he was,
zero.
he, he was
I
so
was
young
always,
that like
I
his
was always
body
a,
was just like fine.
Yeah.
yeah, I was actually the leanest I was. the the first cycle I ever took was testosterone and D-ball, and that was actually the leanest I'd ever been while I was on that cycle.
No shit.
And I'm not kidding you. I was eating fucking anything I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
Like it.
Yeah, yeah. But I was always a skinny kid too. So, and I think that a large part of that is just due to the digestive issues that I deal with. Um, and then, I'm very active. I'm always twitching and things like that.
Mm.
So, yeah, I agree 100%. That's the right way to do it. And I'm glad that both of you did things the right way.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
shows. It shows. It shows in the longevity. Like I deal with health issues in the off season, right? And it's prolonged 2 years in a row for me for being able to prep, and then now trying to have a kid, right? I've been off gear for over a year, and haven't really. So me starting earlier and doing things the wrong way have really played a long term detriment. You know, I'm not in terrible shape, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, and yeah, around like these, there's like a lot of conversation around like how positive or detrimental is it that PED conversation is so popular online, and like I'm of the opinion that it's generally like a really good thing because I've seen it be a really good thing for myself. There's going to be some outliers where it's just like crazy ass talk, but I think most kids are going to we're going to do it regardless. It seems like so. It's like at least there's some conversation out there about like anything involving eating well and taking care of yourself. So
Well, I think that the PED information that we have available to us today, from podcasts and other information, is much better than what it was when I started. Because when I started, we had Rich Piana
hmm
telling us the best
Oh
cycle
yeah.
he ever took was 750 Sustanon and 50 mgs of Anadrol and fucking 100
right,
Hmm.
milligrams of Tren every other day, right? Like that was
Even
the
in
second.
Boston Lloyd, you were just like, oh God, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
Boston Lloyd. That was the second cycle
yeah,
I ever took was fucking Tren and Anadrol.
yeah,
Like,
fuck,
Fucking wild.
You know what I'm saying? So the information that I think that information was to a detriment, in a
For sure.
negative thing. But I think that the information that is being put out today is much better, and I'm in agreement with you, Tyler.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a benefit. So tell us a little bit about your competing journey, and you started and you said 2020 was your first show.
2020, yeah, like December 2020, like right, right whenever COVID, like the shows started popping up after COVID, hopped into something there and started in men's physique. I just wanted to get lean and just see if I could get shredded. And I wasn't like super interested in men's physique, but I was like, I just want to say I'm going to do a show. I want to follow through and I want to do it. Um, did that and like it was cool. Like I don't know, probably 185 pounds on stage or something like that, and pretty freaking lean and like enjoyed it. Did well, like won like a novice overall or something. So at least I knew like okay, like I'm decent at this. There's some feedback there that says like I can keep going. Um, and then yeah, naturally wanted to switch over to classic, um, which I inevitably knew was going to happen. I just quite honestly didn't have legs when I started with Ben.
Yeah.
And then we went kind of straight into like a diet prep phase. So I just didn't have legs. So I just did men's physique.
Mhm.
No offense. Like that's not what I'm saying. But right after that, we went into our first off season. We're like, yeah, we're going to grow a full, more complete physique and did our first like off season enhanced and saw some growth there. And it was nothing overly impressive. Like I think my first classic show, like I made a first call out at I think the Texas Cup. I was like fifth or sixth place in my first open class of a
Was
men's
that
of a
2021?
physique show, maybe 2021.
Was that the year we
2021. Okay.
competed against each other?
No, that would have been the
Okay.
following year,
That was the
2023. We
following.
competed
That's
against each other.
2023. Yeah, that was Republic.
Oh, okay. That was
Uh,
Republic. Yeah, that's Republic.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So 2021 first like classic show and made a first call out. Again, I was like, cool. That's confirming to me that I'm like decent at this, but it was like not anything to write home about. It was not some like I'm gonna go pro at this no matter what.
Mhm.
Like this is my calling. It was nothing like that. It was just enough feedback where I was like, I should keep doing this. Like this is cool.
Yeah.
I can keep doing this. And then yeah, just progressively getting better and better at executing, like better at bodybuilding, like at
Mhm.
the act of it. And then better on stage because of that, right? So and then 2023 was like
So off 2022, right? Off 2022. Or did you compete in 2022 as well?
must have been off 2022. Yeah. We were taking
Six.
longer off seasons at that point. So I would have competed in 2023 and
Just
got like
couple
second
things.
place in an open class. And I was like, oh shit, that's really cool. And then went to Republic right after that. Got like third. That was not a great show, but doesn't really matter. So I was like, cool, I'm getting some second and third places and like kind of moving up. Like this is fun. This is looking cool. Um, again, just like more feedback to keep going because I do heavily consider like the implications of the things we do with bodybuilding. So um, I love it, and I will always do it, whether it was naturally or TRT or full blown on PEDs. Like I will always do it, whatever phase of life that comes with. But um, did I want to continue just like pushing the limit with things? And there was just enough feedback of like, yeah, I should keep doing this. So 2023, um, that's how that looked. And then must have been
So 2 shows in 2023, right?
2 shows in 2023. 2024, oh yeah, 2024 would have been my first time winning a class. Yeah. So then I was getting like pretty solid. I was like actually executing bodybuilding like really, really well, like obsessing. And I was like progressing really, really quickly at that point. And so 2024 was like just in right in line with how well I was executing. My results were just getting better and better. Like go figure. 2024 was the first like class win. Lost an overall, and I was like, cool, but it's still a class win. That's the first time I've ever done that. Freaking great. And then again, just like little by little. Now the off seasons were a little bit shorter. We're getting closer to the weight cap, and then 2025 won my first overall at the same show I had won my class the year before. So I'm like, okay, I am making the exact progressions I need to be making to prove to myself that I should keep pushing this the way I am. And then yeah, won an overall, and for me that justified going and doing nationals for the first time. And so that was like 2 months after winning an overall, and Um, goal was the first call out, and made the first call out at nationals, and that was really cool. Um, and so that was like highly motivating. And then yeah, 7 months later we're here. Just got done with Universe, and uh, got it done.
Secured the pro card.
Yeah,
So that's a solid way to go about things. Yeah, I wish I hadn't won that first overall that I did.
that's funny. It's funny you say that.
Yeah,
I can understand that. Yeah,
yeah, because just like you, after I won an overall, I thought I was ready to go to nationals,
yeah.
and I wasn't.
Hmm.
I wasn't. um, so yeah, I think that losing early on is actually a good thing for most people.
Yeah,
And it kind of keeps you going. So
yeah. I
you've
was
got
just
the
talking to someone about that who just recently competed and like didn't quite get a win, and it's like I wish I could explain. There's no way I can explain this to you where it like makes you feel better about this, but like
yeah.
this is the best possible outcome right now. Because if you just won, you're probably going to go try the next level. Maybe it's not time yet, but what you just did is like just enough to keep the fire, like to ignite a
Hmm.
more of a fire, right? So it's like now your motivation is through the roof, and it's like, okay, I'm like right there knocking at the door of this next
Hmm.
step, and like you can't really convince somebody like I promise you, feel better because this is the best outcome for you right now. But genuinely, sometimes that is the best outcome for you.
It 100% is, because what ends up happening is that you end up getting a little bit of an ego, right? And you think that you're good, and you're not. And so for me, I knew I wasn't ready immediately, but I won my first overall in 2020. I want to say
Phil
it was
Heath.
at the Phil Heath. Yeah, I want to say it was in like April of 2020. And then I did nationals the following year. Um, you know, NPC nationals, not just in second call outs. And then I've done two national shows since, and I've the second call outs in every national show that I've done. So, um, yeah, I wish that I would have lost that overall and then continued to work a bit more. Now, I will say this though: had I not have won that overall and went to that national show, I probably would have worked with the coach I was working with a bit longer, and wouldn't have been working with Barry,
Yeah,
who I think is a much better coach.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. That's really interesting. It's yeah. Looking back on it, it's much easier to say, but it's like, man, I'm glad all of it went exactly the way
yeah,
it did. But like on that weekend, you're like so pissed.
yeah,
You're like, I can't believe this, and like, why am I
Mm.
doing any of this? It doesn't make any sense. But
hmm,
it was just like, yeah, it's like perfect the way it, just let it go the way it's going to go.
yeah,
Everything, it's like when it's your time, it's your time. But for you to get to your time, you have to stack enough habits to make that a thing. And as you can see, especially with Tyler, where he just locked in on more being the lifestyle of bodybuilding, which is something that I have done myself for the last 2 years since I did Republic in 2024, and I didn't come out very good. I did okay, but like there was nothing to write home about. But it was just enough for me to be like, okay, I can see where this is going. It's my first show after being enhanced and taking 2 years off, whatever. I was like, oh, okay, I can see that. Like maybe I have some structure or something, some shape to do it. It's just a matter of consistently putting my life in a spot where I could actually make bodybuilding its entire priority, mostly because I know I don't necessarily have the genetic to be, because you see here's some guys who are just genetic anomalies and they can work crazy hours and do construction and all these things and maybe not even eat all their meals and they
Yeah,
just
yeah,
grow like fucking
yeah,
crazy.
yep,
So this is why everybody's different. And, I think the path that we are all on here, where this is the true and try hard path of just being executing bodybuilder every day, do a show, prep, rebound, get better at rebounding, get better out of the post show, get better in the off seasons, get tired in the off seasons, take your food with you to Christmas dinners, bring all these things with you and just be okay with, making it a part of your single day life. That's not to say that you can't enjoy times or be off plan or when you go to different trips and actually live a little bit. That's not what this is saying. I think it's just more or less just stacking the habits, keeping cardio in the off season, keeping your training log, watch your volume, understand your body's own feedback. Don't just do it because it says on paper.
exactly. Oh my
Understand
God.
how you feel.
hmm,
Like, do I feel like shit today? Do I feel like I can add another set or did I feel like that was enough? and learning that auto regulation and learning how, like, for me in this off season, using this prep, the big thing for me was getting a CPAP. I didn't know getting a CPAP for me would be that much beneficial, and it has
Mm-hmm.
absolutely just made sleep. It's making prep way easier. I can sleep. My off seasons, I can actually eat a full meal, go to bed, and not be super lethargic. It's kind of the small things where you're just tacking on these habits, and eventually, in due time, you stack the boxes, you do everything that you're supposed to do. It will happen eventually on your own time, and rightfully so, because now whenever you get in somebody like Tyler's position, he's a pro now. Those guys are freaks. Now he's in the bottom again, and he's got to work his way back. It never ends. This shit never ends. So if you think you get a
Yeah.
pro card and it's done,
It
it's
really,
not.
really never ends. You're like exactly right. And
Never.
yeah, that was part of the 6 year journey. Is like, am I, you proud of how I executed like the first 1, 2 years? Like, quite honestly, like, I mean, prep, I was like not eating off plan or anything, but like off seasons were like just cool. I'm going to eat mostly my diet food, and then like I was just getting fat. Like, quite honestly, like when I
Mm-hmm.
first started working with Ben the first couple of years, and then year by year, once the feedback kept coming in, I was getting better and better results. It's like naturally tightening up more and more to where in
Yeah.
the last 3 years or so, it's just literally prep 365 days a year, just more food and, um, you know, one free meal a week if we're doing that at that moment or not. And yeah, that's just the natural progression of things. But again, it's like with the training stuff of being young, like I wouldn't take any of that back. Like I wouldn't
No.
change it. Like I'm not sitting here saying, could I have gone pro 2 years earlier if like my first two off seasons, like what the fuck? Like
Why does that
none of
matter?
that it even crosses my mind. It's
Yeah.
just the development thing. And it could have been 2 more years. It could have taken me 8 years or 9 years, if that's just what the development took, but you're invested in it. So, um, you're just like along for the ride at a certain point.
It's the process, right, that becomes addicting. It's the prep, the off season, getting all tight and doing it across the board. And once you see that visual like feedback and you see it, you're like, oh shit. So if I
Yeah,
just keep doing this and I keep rinsing and repeating this, I'm
exactly.
just
And you
going to
said like
continue to get better and better.
it never does end because like
Never ends.
the thought that crosses my mind now anytime I open Instagram and it's just like classic physique coverage from all over the world. Like the first thing that comes to my mind is like, holy fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are
I
fucking
have
nuts.
zero chance in any of this if I am not just perfect
100%.
all the time. Um, like I just stand no chance. So like if I want to do this and if I want to continue, I can always continue getting better. That's a fact. So like that's cool. I'll keep
Yeah.
doing it because I know I can improve year by year. But if I want to like placing wise or standings wise get somewhere, then it's like, holy shit, there's a lot of people out there that are crazy, crazy
Crazy.
looking. So
Yeah.
it just never ever ends. It's like the thought is just like, is there anywhere I can beat someone like that, like in my process? So it's like I will just be perfect and
All you can
try
do.
to figure out new things with training and just get better and see like where does that leave us? Like if we leave no stone unturned, it's like end up where we do, and I'll be happy with that because that's all you really want out of any of like if you really love bodybuilding, that's all you really want out of it. It's like, cool, I did the most that I possibly could
That's all you can
in
do.
in last year, in the last 2 years, or when I'm done and say like I'm done with this for good. I did the most I possibly could. Then it's like, cool, I could not ask for anything more. Maybe that was never being in a first call out at a pro show. Maybe it's you're fucking good at maybe. Who knows?
I think
Either way, you gave it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I listened to a podcast recently with Kuba, and I love Kuba a lot. And he has a great mentality where he's just like, he goes, I probably am never going to win a pro show. I'm never probably going to be, top five, top seven. Like, I'm never going to do it, but it's the process. I fucking love the process and seeing myself get better. I'm still getting better. I may not be placing better, but I
Mhm.
am getting better. And eventually, maybe that does end up, if you just win like one pro show, like, as long as you give it your all by the time it's to put it up, right, to hang it, you
Yeah.
can move on with your life knowing that I did this in my 30s or whatever. I did this for that time period and I gave it my
Yeah.
all. Now I can
To
move on and enjoy
exactly, dude.
life.
'Cause how many hobbies or sports or
Oh,
activities did you do growing up or along the way where you're like, I was pretty good at that or like decent
yeah.
at that, but it's like you'd never
Pursued it.
live like a monk lifestyle
No.
for fucking football in high school or something like that,
Yeah.
right? So to be finished with something at some point in the future and be like, damn, I did
Yeah.
something for an extended period of time that was like executed at the highest possible level that you really can. I don't know if a lot of people can say they've done that. So it's like, regardless, yeah, again, like regardless of what that outcome ends up placings wise or whatever,
Right. Doesn't really
it's still
matter.
like it's like hell yeah, like I did that for a long time.
Plus, nobody can take away from what you have built. Whatever you have built with your physique, you did that. Nobody can take that away from you. And you built something that is intrinsically so hard. It is so hard to build muscle. It's so hard to be jacked and super huge and peeled at the same time. It's super hard to do that. And you only have one life, and there's a small amount of time that you can actually do that. And then the rest, it's gone. So you should absolutely, and that's how I see it. And that's I think once people start to kind of reframe their mind and change their mentality, and I think Ben does a good job of low key doing that, but he doesn't ever really like push it. It's just more of just like the reference of mind of just shaping your mentality into being like, I am an athlete, and to execute like an athlete, like a FIFA soccer player or like an
Yeah,
NFL player, you need to execute at a high level, because we don't get the luxury to turn it off. It always
Yeah.
is with us all the time.
exactly.
So now you're a pro. You get 10 pounds more on your weight cap. Have y'all discussed where you want to add that weight?
Uh, so yeah, it's 10 pounds. Honestly, with better condition and like if you had to move water around, like 15 pounds, like there's a
Yeah.
lot, a lot, a
Yeah.
lot of progress. Like it, we could, yeah, there's a shitload of work that can be done. Again, like the last couple years have been back thickness, um, lat thickness, like more more three-dimensional, like depth,
Hmm.
more
Mm.
sweep to the legs, more add like more everything, more of just basically not chest and side delts. Like anything besides chest and side delts, it's like let's attack that pretty heavily. So trying to accentuate just the X frame, like
Hmm.
how are we gonna, so keeping cardio in, keeping core training consistent, building everything around that, and just trying to accentuate that shape, because I think, well, I know that that's the reason why I do well in shows. When I do well in shows is because of shape and taper, and so just continuing to make that more dramatic. Um, Lower body, just more of that, more glutes specifically. Like we're finally doing, for the first time, a lot of like glute specific work, and um, really just trying to build enough like density so that we can achieve pro level conditioning without losing the shape that helps me do well in shows. So like as it stands, like I never get like completely stripped out like walnut glutes, like because there's a give and a take where it's like, yeah, but you cannot lose a quarter inch off of your quad sweep. You will lose every show if you lose any quad sweep. So like we're playing that game. So the goal is to just have enough muscle everywhere that like extreme conditioning can be achieved while still playing to the strong suit of shape.
Yeah. I think that I'm sitting here. Let's share some pictures of Tyler.
Yeah, because
Uh,
I could very well be talking out my ass. I'm talking about having good shape.
yeah, I don't know about all that. Let's share some pictures of Tyler here. Um, for the this is 2 days out, correct?
Yeah, I think that
From
was 2 days out.
Universe.
Hmm.
This is where you won your pro show,
Yeah,
Hmm.
that was
or where
two
you
days
won your pro
out.
card. Sorry.
Yep, 2 days out of winning the pro card, and this was one of those check-ins. I think this was actually the check-in where I was just like, "Oh God, I might be here to like actually like."
Compete.
Yeah, like I knew I was there, but I was like, "Okay, I need a first call up." But I was like, "Yeah, this one was like, oh shit, I'm seeing some dimension and stuff that I hadn't
Hmm.
seen before."
I'm going to be honest with you, Tyler. From my perspective and the way that I see this, if you just get these legs to match this upper body, bro, you you know
Dude,
you're gonna be dangerous.
we're hammering, hammering,
Yeah,
hammering legs. Just complete like it's a whole new approach to legs that I haven't used before.
yeah.
And I'm really excited to see how that goes. Need to pay a lot of attention to recovery.
Yeah.
In just health in general to be able to uphold the training style that we're doing now. But I'm really excited for it because yeah, it's just legs, man. Like with 10 to 12 to 15 pounds like available, like legs, but then we also have the ability to put on some upper body size as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I think you do. I'm just saying, just as it stands now, man, like very good shape.
Yep.
Yeah, and yeah, like I said, like priority is being able to get into like real pro level condition, and
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know, you just have to have a certain. We can get there. Most
Yeah.
anybody can get absolutely pilled shredded on a bodybuilding stage, but I mean, like,
It's a
we want to do that and have
It's a fine line, right? Where you're trying to
yeah.
find that look where it's like if we dig you any harder, you're gonna
right.
lose this, and then you're fucked.
Yeah.
And you know yourself, like each athlete knows themselves best. Ian, that for you, that might be, I cannot get on an amateur stage without pill glutes. I don't know exactly your situation, but for some people, it's like, if you don't have pill glutes, don't
Jesus.
even bother. Where a
Whoa,
guy was,
he's black.
Is this one of your clients?
that was my first, that was my first prep. That was me on Milano tan.
Yeah.
Dude, yes, dude, that's the kind of
Fuck yeah,
transformation I'm
dude.
fucking talking about
Hell
right
yeah.
That is one of my clients. He destroyed.
there.
You did a good
Incredible.
job, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's great work. Yeah.
Yeah, so for everybody, it's different, and you have just a crazy X frame, so it's just continuing to keep that thing that your as your priority
Yeah.
as your thing, where everybody's is a little bit different. Maybe some people might benefit from a bit harder a look, or they might build from a better, softer, fuller look. It's just kind of you play the game, but you only know that game the more times you compete and the
Dude,
more times you put yourself out on a
yes.
high level stage.
And I'm so glad to have a really good coach.
Yeah,
Like that I worked with for a long time because if complete hypothetical, let's say last year I was like sixth place in nationals, that's not good enough for me. I need a different approach. I would not have turned pro this year because I would have got with a coach and they would have said, let me show you how fucking
restart.
build I can get you. They're like, I'm going to show my work. I'm going to show you my value. We're going to get you built. And I would have lost that
Hmm.
show. Even leading into that show, I was in my head thinking like, fuck, like the glutes just aren't totally in. Like, I know that I could do more cardio. I know I could pull some carbs at this time of the day. And I know we could really bring this in, but like just follow the plan. Like
Yeah.
a good coach knows what they're looking at.
Yeah,
And yeah, the way he brought it in, it was like, um, I continue to learn like so much every single year where I'm like, in my head, I was like, I swear I can be leaner. I should be leaner right now.
yeah.
I never fully doubted him. I would never do
Yeah.
something off the plan. Like but
Mhm.
you just get in your own head sometimes. So, if I was coaching myself, I would have been like, "Yep, it's time to drop the hammer." But instead, he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna start feeding you up and just like bring you into the show slowly now." And I'm like, "You
Yeah.
sure?" Um,
Dude, please don't do that.
yeah, and but then sure enough,
Yeah,
like you see yourself on stage, you're like, "Damn, if I did not have all of that fullness that we're carrying, I just wouldn't have placed where I did." So
Yeah.
that's another testament to like, you know, saying like hiring a good coach, I guess is hard to say, but like sticking with somebody when you know they are steering you in the right
so
direction.
they're willing to kind of educate you along the way and like understand like this is why, because sometimes it's not about doing an extra 5 or 10 minutes of cardio. It's not
Hmm.
doing about doing this. Sometimes it's about just taking time off. Maybe actually, I'm getting shredded. I'm getting shredded. I don't need to refeed. I don't need to refeed. No, but you
Hmm.
need to have a couple. Like you need it. You need to actually like. No, it's
Yeah,
okay. Just keep carb list. I don't need it.
yeah,
Like you. That's why like people who try to self coach, unless like you just like you have to have so much experience, so much knowledge, and even still, it's such a fucking hit or miss game. So it's just trusting the other person, and they're
yeah,
coming from a non-biased standpoint. They're looking at you every day. They see
Hmm.
other people are like, okay, and then make changes. And that's why doing more cardio or pulling it all the way to carbs, this might not get you fucking peeled. It actually might
yeah.
make it look like shit.
Like one thing I always say is like the best thing I get out of having a coach is when not to do something, like when to stop changing things. That is
Hmm.
by far the most value I get out of coaching because I can look at myself and say like I can be leaner, let me do more cardio. But that's not always the right choice. So like that is by far the most value you can get out of someone is like in an off season or in a prep where it's like let's just slow things down. Like we're good, we're on the right track, no changes needed. In your own head, you always want to be in control and like moving things. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's good coaching.
Yeah. We're like, wait, can I do wind strong now? I can get harder. I
Yeah.
can get harder if we
Like,
do
hey,
wind
I've
strong
got some
now.
Halo on hand. What do you think? Like, oh no, okay, okay.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no
Can we
Halo.
up the
Oh,
trend? You know,
okay.
fuck.
Yeah. Can we up the trend? I'm sleeping great. Like, it's fine. I can tolerate more. Well, man, I think this was an absolutely
Yeah.
amazing podcast. If you had to say one thing to the audience about Road to Pro or about your journey, motivational to keep them, keep them going, or if they're maybe brand new to this, word of advice, anything like that.
I think yeah, for me, the most important thing is um, really just for a while, you need to just ignore placings. Like you just need to take feedback from yourself, from photos, from judges, whatever it is, um, and confirm on a 3 month, 6 month, 12-month basis. Am I moving in the right direction? I I got second place last year, but I got fourth this year at nationals. Like, what the hell? Like, no, you looked better. Take your time, and if you are just getting positive feedback from what your system, your approach is doing, I think just do that long enough, and I think just keep going and like take the placings as they come, and don't put too much stock into them. And then I think eventually, if it's meant for you, that you just kind of fall in where you belong.
Yeah.
Well said.
Solid. We appreciate you joining us, Tyler.
Yeah, guys, it was really
Um,
good catching up. Ian, I see you from time to time. Logan, I basically never see you now. I saw
no.
you a couple times, but it's always good to catch up, even if it's just a message back and forth real quick. But this was super
Yep.
cool.
All right,
It's awesome.
guys. That's it for today's episode. I will link Tyler's Instagram below. Make sure to go give him a follow.
Cool.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
later.